It's been brought to my attention that some of the commenters would like me to weigh in on the Villanova loss to higher seeded, 3.5 point favored Purdue Boilermakers in a down season in which Villanova, quite honestly, had no right making the NCAA tournament, let alone being a 6 seed, winning their third straight Big East after, winning their second of 3 national championships and losing 4 players, none of whom seniors, to the NBA last year, including 2 players they didn't expect. But alas, they got there, so I shall weigh in on it. Am I surprised? A little bit surprised. Thought they'd keep it close. They were flawless as an underdog against the spread this year. So if nothing else, I thought it would be a close game. Did not expect them to get their asses kicked. Happens. But a lot of the people on Twitter and in the comments, you scroll through, there's a lot of Philly allegiance there, a lot of St. Joe's, a lot of Temple. We'll get to that in a minute. When it comes down to the game, it doesn't sting that much. Doesn't sting as much. I still have my sweatshirt from last year's national championship. You could still smell the parade on my shoes. It's been a year since I've attended 2 parades, the Eagles and Villanova. I just sort of keep filling that City Hall area they do. So it doesn't sting as much as you might think. The same way the Eagles loss probably didn't sting for most of us this year, coming off a championship, that sort of thing lasts with you for a little while. It's disappointing, I guess, but again, they were playing over their weight all season long. They have 4 top 60 recruits coming in next season, including 2 of the top 15 players in the country, the number 2 shooting guard, the number 2 power forward. It's Jay Wright's best class ever. Think about that. Think about how scary that is. Jay Wright's best class ever. 2 national championships, 3 years, and it's his best class ever. They're getting better. Program is in fine company. Think about it this way. It could be Bill Self. And get cucked in the tournament. Could have been Coach K, which would have been one of the most embarrassing losses of all time, with 2 elite NBA players on your roster, barely squeaking by a UCF team that lost to Temple. Let's talk about Temple and St. Joe's a little bit. Saw some comments that maybe this was retribution for my comments about Phil Martelli and Fran Dunphy. I went back, this is fun, last Thursday night. I was right after I think Dunphy was eliminated in a play-in game. I went back and I looked at the tournament records for Fran Dunphy and Phil Martelli since 2004. Phil Martelli went to the Elite 8 with Jameer Nelson and criminal Delonte West, alleged, in 2004. Since then, he has won one tournament game in 15 years. And yet somehow he's off parading around like he didn't deserve to be fired, like it was his birthright to coach at St. Joe's, which last I checked views itself ostensibly as a legitimate Division I basketball program. And yet they've won 1 tournament game. 1 since 2004. Fran Dunphy, 2 tournament games since 2004. Neither, of course, has advanced past the first weekend. In fact, this is a fun little stat. Jay Wright has coached in as many Final Fours as Fran Dunphy and Phil Martelli have combined NCAA tournament wins since 2004. 3 Final Fours, 3 total wins over here combined. And Jay Wright's won something like 28 tournament games, including tournament games in 6 straight seasons. For a guy who chokes, supposedly, in the tournament, 6 straight years with at least 1 tournament win, 2 national championships, 28 since 2004. So I'm doing just fine, actually. I'm actually doing just fine. A little bit disappointed about the loss. Didn't really expect them to go far this year, but was bullish after the effort against St. Mary's and winning yet another Big East tournament championship. I thought they would play Purdue better. Underestimated how good their one guard was. That's fine, not a big deal. Again, Jermaine Samuels, future NBA player. He came on very strong at the end of the season. He'll be a heavy part of the rotation next year. Colin Gillespie is the next white point guard at Villanova, and they have their best class coming in ever. So not only is the program in good hands, it's in better shape than it's ever been before. Villanova is in a situation in the Big East where they're almost guaranteed a number 1 seed every single season when they're even remotely good. Even when they're bad, they get a 6 seed. I enjoyed the coverage last week. Villanova and Temple getting ready for the NCAA tournament. Is Temple Temple really getting ready if Fran Dunphy's playing in a play-in game? Is that really like getting ready for the tournament, or is that like trying out for the tournament? It's probably more like trying out for the tournament. So Villanova will be back. They'll probably be a 2 seed next year. 2 years from now, though, that'll be the year. That'll be the year they're competing for yet another national championship and yet another parade, and Jay Wright being yet again the best coach in the country and the best looking coach and the best dressed coach and the most winningest coach and a future Hall of Famer and all that. Meanwhile, Phil Martelli will still be doing interviews about how it was his birthright to be at St. Joe's, and I'm sure Fran Dunphy will find another Big 5 school to coach at. So, yeah, I'm doing just fine. Stings a little bit, but, really, this doesn't hurt at all.